Each one of us has a story about social rejection and may or may not found the answers to the questions of why I got rejected or why I am being rejected by my peers and how everything started to go wrong. Whether we triggered the tragedy or it's not our fault. Hello there, it's Ikram, and in this episode I'm gonna share with you my story with social rejection and social anxiety and how I overcame both at university. Stick with me to the end. I'm gonna share with you the 8 tips that I developed back in university to overcome the social awkwardness and build complex relationships and friendships. For me, everything started the first year and the first day at primary school. Why I got rejected by my peers and got outcasted, it's because of the teacher. She treated me very badly. The reason to it is to please the rich kids and their parents. I wasn't the only victim. And even though I tried to build friendships, I couldn't. I felt like she isolated me from the whole class. The only time when I could breathe was in the French lesson because it's another teacher. The situation stayed the same for 3 years until my parent decided that it's for my best to change me to another class and to another teacher. And that saved me. It was in my 4th grade at primary school, and for the first time, I had friends. The teacher was nice with everyone, and even helped me to make friends. And thanks to that, I had 2 amazing years. But nothing lasts forever. I graduated primary school and I got into elementary school, and things did not work well with me. I was in the same class as my brother, who was a top class student while I was an average one. And some teachers used that as an excuse to harass me mentally, always comparing me to my brother and treating me like an idiot in front of the whole class. Some mocked my hair, and some others mocked me for watching and liking animation and saying it's for kids. The funny thing is that we were 12 years old. We were kids. And all of that bad treatment caused a sort of friction between me and the other girls. They underestimated me. I didn't get along with them. They didn't like me and thought that I was childish. I don't blame them for thinking so. The teachers pushed them to think so. But even though I didn't get along with girls, there was one that didn't mind me. Her and boys. I endured the mental harassment for 4 years. In these 4 years, I started to hate teachers, school, and started having excessive daydreaming, zero confidence and self-esteem. After graduating elementary school and enrolling into high school, my life became calm. Some girls from my old elementary school said to me that I became a calm person and mature in some way. And they liked me now. But in reality, I suffered from social anxiety. I felt emotionally drained and exhausted. I was a depressed person. After 1 year, we moved away to another city. It was in my 2nd year of high school. I had a simple and very calm life in my new high school. I no longer meet the girls from my old elementary school because they made me feel so bad back then. Here in the new city, actually not that new because it's my natal city, life is much easier. At first, it was hard. I didn't approach anyone. My social awkwardness didn't let me to. Even when girls tried to approach me, somehow I find myself unable to answer them. The teachers were nice, and thanks to a very sociable girl I became friends with, helped me open up a little bit to other girls of my class. Overall, they all were very humble and nice. I had 2 peaceful years of this high school. I made friends, yes, but my anxiety did not disappear, or my social awkwardness. Plus, I became very sensitive and weak. When someone says something hurtful, I used to not stop them. I couldn't dare say anything to anyone, especially adults. Every time I needed to say something, I would overthink it and analyze everything. Their faces, their reactions, always ended up having the same negative thoughts that pop up in my head. What if they started to hate me and they will stop being my friends? After overthinking and my body started to shake, my voice as well, and sweating, I ended up not saying what I wanted to say and bear the pain in silence. And without realizing, I developed trust issue. I didn't trust my friends or open up to them because of that. My life was going in one direction. From school, I went straight home. I never hung out with girls or stayed at school late to chat with them. As weak as I was, I did everything to forget and bury all these problems by distracting my mind, and that by staying in front of the computer, watching animation all my free time. And to be honest with you, I didn't know that what I have been through are the consequences of the social rejection. Based on Psych Central, social rejection leads the child to depression, emotional pain, sadness, avoidant copying behavior, like compulsive video game playing and television watching. In my case, is the use of computer and watching animation. There is as well the long-term effect of rejection for the adults who have experienced rejection in their childhood. The effects manifest as strong sense of independence, not asking for help when needed, and do the work alone, not relying on anyone, so we don't bother anyone. It took me a lot to stop doing that and actually learn to ask for help when needed. There is as well difficulty trusting others. And for the effect of social anxiety, there is dizziness, blushing, heart palpitations, shortness of breath, nausea, vomiting, excessive sweating and shaking, or trembling are all symptoms of social anxiety. And social anxiety is one of the consequences of social rejection in early childhood. Based again of Psych Central articles, I will put the links to the articles in the description section. So that's my story with social rejection in my childhood. The reason why I share with you my story today is that I know that I'm not the only one who suffered from it, and by sharing it, I may make someone feel less lonely and console them. I want to say to you as well that there will always be people who had the same bad experiences as you, and they will get you and know how much pain you have been through. And based off the article, causes and consequences of social exclusion and peer rejection among children and adolescents. Approximately 10% to 50% of children are rejected by their peers. These children are actively disliked by many of their peers and are liked by few or none of them. Exclusion may have different causes, but frequently the outcomes are the same for victims. So yeah, the reasons might be different than mine. Maybe you had other causes and a different story, but we have been through the same outcomes and the same pain and suffering. If that can help you feel less lonely and console you in any way, then the purpose of this podcast has been achieved. And if you are dealing with this today, please do not accept things as they are. You don't deserve to suffer. You deserve to have a beautiful life and being surrounded by friends and people who loves you and care for you. So please ask for help. Ask your parent, a teacher you trust, maybe an adult you trust, and things will change for the better. Well, for university, I really needed to build relationships and that to build teams for the projects. It's at that time when I decided to take control over my life and try change things for myself as an adult rather than regret it later. It was hard at first. I was like, what if everything goes wrong? What if no one wants to befriend me and work with me? And countless of other negative thoughts. But I didn't let my mind control me. And that by pushing myself to go and meet people with that body of mine who shake and that voice that you can barely hear. And believe me, it's so worth it. And like I promised, here are the 8 tips that I employed in my 5 years at university to build friendships and good relationships with people. Prove your value, but don't provide it to all. People with skills are surrounded because they are needed. Someone told me this, and it's really true. In my case, I was known as someone good at French, and this language is really needed in university in our country. The thing is, my classmates were not good at French, so they needed my skill. But I didn't provide it to all. The skill you have and others doesn't have will make you a valuable person and needed. That can be a language or any other skill like coding, writing, and so on. But this skill of yours, don't provide it to everyone. That's because people will get used to the fact of you giving them what they need easily, and they will take it for granted. They will not put an effort to be nice and in good relationship with you. They will take you for pushover, and they will not respect you. And that's what we need to avoid. Being strict about when and who to provide this service is very important to gain people respect. It's a win-win relationship. They get to be good to you and get along with you, and they get your help when it's very needed. Not all the time, like working on project together as a team. So if you have a specific skill that needed in university and that your classmates need, you need to showcase your skill and use it often. That skill will be part of your identity at university, and that will boost your reputation and your confidence, which is super good. Smiley face. What I mean is, we introverts and people who suffer from social anxiety tend to have a poker face all the time when we are outside. We look so serious, but the truth is that we try to hide what we really feel when we are in a crowded place so that people doesn't figure out that we are socially awkward or that we are terrified. But what we do as well with that kind of face is that we push people away who tries to approach us. They take our poker face as don't approach me, and believe me, no one on earth wants to deal with difficult people. That's what everyone hates the most. So yeah, we need to avoid that. My first friend that I made in my second year of university was thanks to a smile. We became friends after we smiled at each other. It really works, especially with sociable people. What a smile says is, I like you, I'm happy to see you, your presence makes me happy. Well, a smile does not cost anything but create many things, said by Dale Carnegie. I'm not telling you to smile at everyone, that will may attract bad people. For my case, I only smile at people that I want to get to know, and smiling really works with sociable people. You only need to smile at them and they will do the rest. They are the easiest to get to know, and having one as a friend makes life much easier. Use your connection. One person will lead you to another one. Becoming friends with your friend's friend is much easier than getting to do that as strangers to each others. Most of the people I worked with in different projects at university are friends of my friends. It was easier to get to know them because of the friends that we had in common. The people you meet using your connection will trust you and be open to talk to you freely, especially if this friend you have in common had talk about you with them. It's a good thing to try meet your friends' friends. It's not always comfortable, but it's so worth it. But you need to choose wisely who of your friends you want to meet their friends based off his personality and preferences. People tend to attract people who resemble them. That does not apply on sociable person because she will attract all sorts of people, which is kind of fun. Another thing is pay attention to your friend's feelings. There is some people who does not wish to share their friends with anyone, like introverted people. Sociable people does not mind, but keep this in mind so you avoid some troubles. Avoid conflicts and be neutral. One of my friends used to get herself into futile problems and conflicts with others, even though she was very sociable and popular. But she didn't know how to manage her social life, always rushing to call off her friendships with others without reflecting on her own actions. The thing is, I never took part of any of her conflicts. I never took any side. I liked her, but that does not mean I will take her side and blame others for meaningless problems. The same goes for all my friends. I don't take any side of any conflict, only if it's a really serious matter, which is a rare thing to happen. Just because you really like your friend or it is the only friend you have, it's not a valid reason to get dragged in their meaningless problems. That will only cause you troubles. Only if it's a really serious conflict, that's another thing. The friend that talked about at the end, we call off our friendship. She never respected my vision and opinions, but at least I did not lose my other friends because of the conflicts she triggered. It's good to have a friend, a close one that you really like and you are willing to make sacrifices for them, but don't do that at the expense of others who likes you and respect you and at the expense of your well-being. Be confident by faking it. It will always be the same for me and you or anyone. We all feel stressed and nervous when we meet new people or we start a new job or a new project, which is normal. The thing is, there is a plus for the people who are socially awkward and anxious, and it depends on the person. For example, for me, my legs and voice shake, and in the end of the day, I have to deal with the pain of anxiety. And that every time I meet a new person or I had to do a project presentation in front of the whole class or go to a certain event. Even though it's super hard to manage all of these, but one thing I managed to do is to fake the confidence, as if I was confident and capable of doing the thing I find hard easily, even though I will still shake. But that didn't stop me from speaking. I ignored my body, at least until I finished what I needed to do, so that I won't regret it later. At least I tried. I did that for the past 5 years until I got my master's degree. And now I can meet people and go to events and meet my clients with confidence. That doesn't mean I don't feel stressed and nervous, but not like before. That might be different for you. Maybe you have other effects you deal with because of the social anxiety. And yes, it's hard to deal with and to manage, but still having to try and fake the courage and confidence in order to accomplish what you wanted is so worth it. And you will not regret it. They say act like the person you want to become. And what we want the most is the confidence to face people. It starts with the fake one and it will become a real thing. Believe me. Good listener. Well, this is a skill that everyone must learn. People in general and our friends specifically does not care much about our success and problems as much as they care about their problems and success. And they prefer they talk and brag about it to you. And they really like that person who listen and focus on what are they saying without interrupting or judging them. That shows how much you care about them. Not everyone needs an advice or someone to help them. They need someone to talk to, and that person to only listen really carefully. It's a very good skill to learn and to improve your communication skills in general. Because communicating with someone is not always about saying what they really need to hear, it's more about listening and understanding them before anything else. Working on your communications skills and how to talk to people is a must for better social and professional life. Don't talk about your social anxiety to anyone. What's the mistake you learned the hard way that you can now help others avoid? I will start first. So, I told one of my friends about my social awkwardness and anxiety, and that to try and to be more open to my friend. We were close, so yes. I said, why not to make things more clear? What I ended up with is she tried to use it against me. I don't know if it was intentionally or not, but I decided to believe in her actions. Thanks God, I was working on myself to try and heal. So, after 2 years of friendship, she started to change and try to control me and use my weaknesses against me, from screaming at my face, which is the thing I hate the most, for no reason, to try and put me in difficult situation with others and saying rude and mean things. I will not go to much details, but what I noticed is that she is the type of person who will do anything to achieve her goals. She used so many people as well, not once or twice, but many times. It took me 2 years to take step back and keep safe distance from her. Actions speak more loudly than words. My piece of advice to you is do not tell anyone about it or any kind of trauma you have to anyone, only to your family and very close people that you really trust. Learn to reject people without turning them into enemies. One of the things that I learned in university is that rejection is a right and a way of self-defense rather than a negative thing. We reject things and people who tries to harm and hurt us, and those who doesn't respect our vision. But we should do it in a diplomatic way so that we avoid turning them into enemies. When I was a child, I had this negative idea about rejection as an evil and mean act, and it's very harmful. Well, it's half true. For a child, rejection is very bad, very harmful for their mental health, and I still have the same position about it. Children does not have to deal or to experience rejection. When you see a child rejected by his or her peers, it's always an adult fault, directly or indirectly, whether it is a teacher or a parent. Children are innocent and they don't have the same standards as adults. If a child is rejected by his or her peers, it's the teacher and parent responsibility to know why and how to help this child to make friends. But in the adult world, it's different. There is some who are harmful, disrespectful, even aggressive, and there is who we don't get along with. So to protect ourselves physically and mentally, we need to keep safe distance from them. And that's what I do. If I don't like someone because he she doesn't respect my vision or opinions, he she is mean to me for no reason, I will not befriend that person. And if we are friends, I will call off our friendship. That's it. You're gonna meet a lot of people like this in university or in the professional life. And to avoid turning them into enemies, because I have already many things to deal with, I don't need more troubles. It's by simply keeping a safe distance and stop interacting with them as much as possible. I can say hi to them if I meet them by coincidence, but I'm not stopping to chat with them. If we belong to the same group, I don't mind being in the same place with them occasionally, but I will avoid talking or expressing my opinions as much as possible. When you reach this stage in life, you're gonna make some modification to some of your beliefs, like how you see rejection, because it will become a necessity at some point, especially in the adult world. And if you reach this stage, I shall congratulate you for having the courage to do so. and for the long journey you have been through. From a person who does not have friends at all to choosing carefully your friends and the people you surround yourself with. Going through social rejection and social anxiety is not easy at all and needs so much time and work to heal. And I advise you to seek help to heal and move on. And again, if you are dealing with social rejection and anxiety today in school, ask for help from your parent. And if you are a parent and your child is going through this, please do not let your kid go through such hardship and traumatic experience. The best way to help your child is to change her and him to another school and start all over again. I will read all the comments. So if you have been through such experience, tell us your story and how you managed to overcome it. And if you have any questions, I will answer them. Tell me what do you think about this episode. Please write it in the comment section. That's all for today's episode. Thank you for listening and see you next time. Do not forget to subscribe so you'll get notification for my next video.